Hey, hello, parents and players. Coach Bennett. Some of you I've met, some of you I haven't met. I just want to take a little bit of opportunity to talk to you guys about the season and things I think you all ought to look forward to this great opportunity for all your kids, regardless of whatever team they are on, or things parents look forward to being a parent of kids that play high school sports, middle school, went off to play college, got drafted out of high school. I could see how things work in this environment. One thing I want to do, I'm going to be bouncing back and forth because I'm going to talk about things I think that you all have some questions about. And I want to just clear a little bit of things up and give you how things kind of work as you move up the pole and so forth. Now, there's some things that I look at and then I try to talk to players about because to me, in any sport, I always call it, I say there are always three types of players in every sport. Okay. You got the ones that are, they love playing the game, they like socializing, but they don't want to do nothing afterwards. They're not really taking it serious. They're not going to put in the work that needs to be done. They're just there to have fun. That's player number one. Now, player number two, most of those players I look at, they're good at almost every sport when they go through, especially in high school. They're good at all the sports. They're going to be good at all the sports. But they're good in baseball, but they're not 100% committed to baseball. So they're happy with their high school being the best player in four or five different sports. They're also good in baseball. They're not 100% in baseball. And then you got player number three. These are the kids who say to themselves, I want to play baseball at I'm fully committed into playing baseball at the next level. So when does that start? Fully parents, players, starts now. You guys are around 12 years old, and the commitment level for them, they got to understand that they are going to make sacrifices. They are going to make sacrifices that their friends do not understand. I can tell you this from an advantage of what it's worth versus what you may have to look forward to, or maybe this is not you're that player or that parent that knows because all parents know their kids. So you're either number one, number two, or number three. Okay. Now I can use that because my middle son who played college ball and now works currently work for Google. He was a good player, but in all, he had to work hard to be. And I don't think he realized how good he could be until probably about his going in the year of high school. He really decided, okay, you know what, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start lifting the weight. I'm gonna get up early, 5:30 in the morning, and start hitting in the garage. I'm gonna go run the sprint. I'm gonna do all that stuff without anybody telling me. And then after a while, when the season started, he started to see the results because I always tell kids, everybody don't have to see you work. You just got to show them when the game time. Now, whereas my other son, he was being around his older brothers and get to practicing with the older kids. A little bit of things started to come natural to him. And when he roughly around 13, 14 years old and played in Florida, I was here working in North Carolina. People saw him, and that's when his career kind of took off. And from there, he was invited to all kind of different things. But that's because his whole goal was when he was small, and he was 7, 8, he would always tell me, Dad, I'm gonna play in the major leagues. So even though he worked, he didn't work as hard. We still did things that require him to put in extra work. So understanding how that worked out, we there are things that we just didn't do. Now all families are different, but there's things that we didn't do. Number one, when we didn't have games on the weekends, we didn't get. People say, "Well, I can go here and get more reps." Okay, you may play 4 games on a guest play team. how many baseballs actually get hit to you? How many at bats do you actually? Then I would rather take my son out a weekend off, take him to the ball field, stay out there for about 1 hour and hit him 50, 60, 70 ground balls because he's not going to get that in a game. He can practice running the bases. He could pitch a little bit. Then we can turn around and take BP hour, hour and a half. He's done. You're not going to get that type of work playing a pickup game or playing on another weekend. You let your body relax. So those were some of the things that I did not agree with, and he was not going to get the opportunity. A lot of people knew it, but guess what? I wanted him to reach his goal, what he wanted. The other things you look at is all the time you start with people, he didn't finish. We didn't throw away our friends. My son played on my team, my tribal team. I coached them. He got about 13, 14 ish, so to speak, and 13, and he started to. And I told him, I can coach you, but I don't want to coach you. I want to watch you. So he went on, played somewhere else. I was able to watch, but I kept my other nucleus together, and we did well. All players on that team did well. Matter of fact, one player right now is in the NFL, and I got minor league. That was a good group of kids. But the word that really scares a lot of people in this environment is commitment. I'm talking from players to parents, because that commitment and takes the entire family. You have to be to a point where you are totally committed to the journey, because this is not a success story that's going to happen overnight. I want people to understand that part. My goal as a coach is to help your son get recognized. They're 12 years old. You can still start putting bugs in people's ear about this kid, because 2 years from now, you never know what could happen. But you start now. You start telling them, helping them do the things they need to do. A coach does not make a player better. What makes a player better is the player. A coach will have a practice. I can have a practice and have you for 2 hours, and we can do things. And guess what? We don't got practice again for the next 5, 6 days. What are you doing between those 4 and 5 and 6 days before I see you again? Because you got more open hours than I do. So we have to figure out who is who. That is hard in some cases because all players supposedly love the game, but a lot of people don't like the outcome because baseball is set for failure. So you find a lot of teams that are out there totally committed to winning, which means they'll try to get all the best players, play in whatever tournament, and kill social media with all the trophies they want. But I ask myself, is that kid right there developing? Do I have a chance to see that kid down the line and he's the same player he is today because people are telling him how good he is now and they are coming in first and the kid is not developing because no one cares about that when you make it to whatever level. It doesn't matter. My commitment to any team or any kids that I've been a part of, if you talk to all of them, when I'm 100% in, I'm 100% in. I may tell you or tell kids before that I don't think you are where I think you should be right now, and you may need to do some extra work. But I would rather tell a kid that today than a kid go try out for middle school or high school and get cut. And then they go ask the coach why, and the coach says, well, I don't think you are where you need to be today. You never put in the work. people been telling you it's okay. I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be forward. If it's not okay, or I see down the line that it's going to mess up your projectability for anything, I'm going to tell you. I am always been that way and I will continue to be this way. But what I definitely need is for anything to be successful, the parent, number one, has to be committed. Practices, games, responding to emails, answering questions, all of that entails everything. If I get on the phone and I'm talking to people about things I may be able to help some of these kids get into, and I send an email out or a text message, I expect you to respond. If you don't, then I just end that conversation with whoever I was talking to and say, "Hey, don't worry about it. It's not important to them." Because reality, these kids are 12 and they will follow their parent. If they see that mom and dad are 100% in, you can best believe they're going to be 100%. If we don't become 100% in, then they're going to believe that whatever they do, they don't need to be 100% in. I don't believe in kids playing on 2 and 3 and 4 travel teams. You're not committed. You're not committed. You have to be committed. And I've started with my first group with 7 kids, and we did not play a game. All we did was practice. And then one of my friends said, "You not practice these kids long enough. I'm you 3 players, and y'all go play in a tournament." And after that result, I started getting calls. Why? Because that little group played above where they should have. And it was all, I think, based off of some of the practice supposed to make the game slow. And we did a whole lot of things in situations that game kind of slow to us. That is very important to me. I don't like it if you're not committed. If we're not committed into making something great happen, then that's fine. Everybody could go their way. But to be committed, you got to be in all the way. You got to understand what some of this commitment come cost. Some of these costs endure. I might have to get hotel for a night. I may have to get uh, extra food. That's extra this. I got to buy uniforms. I got to do this. That is financially a commitment. And once you become committed to something, you're going to make sure that your kid does the best he could do. And I always tell my kids that I am not paying $8, $15 to come to a gate to watch somebody else shine. So when you out there, you better let the light shine. And fortunately, I can say this did happen. But what I've noticed now is a lot of not committed people and the notion of fear because they don't know. I have always been the type to try to educate parents, educate players, understand how this works, understand how that works. Because when you get in a certain environment, what happens? You hear all kind of things. I just try to minimize what we hear, but you got to be committed. And the thing about it is, I've been around the game for a long time, and I evaluate every time I have a practice. I look at certain points and evaluate. I write notes down, or when I'm heading back to where I'm coming from, I turn around and I may put my phone on and just talk into my phone. Excuse me, because I'm always trying to figure out what has been going on or what happened in that practice or what could be better. Where does this kid right here needs the most work? Get ready for this, what you want to do. You willing to put in the time? Is this kid willing to put in the time? These are questions got to be answered before we hit practice. Because not all kids are on the same level. I repeat, it is not a coach's responsibility to make a kid better. I am going to help develop the kids. I will help make them stronger mentally. I will give them situations. But you know what? It's what they do on their off time. And when we get back together, is what is good. You find a lot of kids now who got personal trainers. You got find kids who got pitching lesson, hitting lesson. Hey, whatever it takes for you to be better, you do it. There's a lot of things you can do around your house to be better. But if I look at a kid and I say they've been coming here for X amount of weeks, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, then guess what? The issue I got is they look like they're still the same person. Then I wonder what are they doing. Players, you got one body. You throw, you do everything with it. You got to take care of your body. If it's one thing I can tell you, I will say take care of your body. Spend a lot of time stretching. If you ain't got nothing else to do, work on your flexibility. Work on your core muscles. That's your stomach muscles around your hip flexor. You want to be like that. You want to be strong in that area. That controls a lot for pitching as well as for hitting. Okay? Stretching helps the entire body. So some people do yoga, some people just stretch. They get a roll mat and they just roll their body on it to stretch it out. You can do some of this stuff right at your own house. Okay. But you have to decide when you put away certain things to become committed to certain things, everything else stops. Everything else that I wanted to do or I thought about doing, it stopped. Because I can tell you from my son's point of view, when they played and they were committed to travel ball and they were committed to getting better, they didn't do my one son, that's all he did. He was like, Dad, I'm only going to play travel ball. I'm going to play school ball, and the rest of the time we're going to work out. No problem. So he didn't play rec ball. He didn't do any of that stuff. All he did was play travel ball in the summer and then a little in the fall, and he worked out a little bit even when no seasons was going on. And then I had my other son who just say, heck with it, Dad, I'm not playing no rec ball whatsoever. And at that time he was like 9, and he didn't play any rec ball. He just kind of played travel ball, and he played other sports. And again, that worked out for him. So what I say that for is because you can only be committed to totally 100% in to one thing and one thing only. You can't be 100% in to two and three and four things. It will not work. Okay. Now, am I saying that you can't play other sports? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you 100% in on baseball during that baseball time, you should be 100% in during baseball during that time. If you can't be 100%, then me personally, I like kids 100%. I want to be able to have a practice. I don't have to worry about anything else coming up in May and June and so forth. Me, I'm 100% in. And I want to make sure, that's like me telling you guys we got a game at 3 o'clock and I decide I ain't coming. Where's coach? Well, I don't know. That means I'm not 100. But I mean, now if I had cancer treatment and I ain't feeling well, then that's different. But I give everybody everything I have. So I would like for everybody to look at this video, listen to it, parents and players, sit back and ask yourself, are you player number one who enjoys the game, socializing, but you ain't taking it too serious? You player number two, you good at all the sports you want to play, but you know what? I ain't 100% committed to no baseball though. Or you number three, I want to play at the next level, and I'm going to commit myself to being the best I can be to play at the next level, whatever it takes. Means there are some things that I'm going to miss. If you could figure that out, then I think you're fine. Okay. I enjoy this. These are just things I think that people wanted to probably ask me or talk to me about. And I just wanted to get that out there because that's the type of coach that I am. I've always been straightforward and I will continue to be straightforward. But the only thing I need to know is, do I have families that are totally committed to what we have in store? Because this is a journey and I'm not trying to get there today. There's a path we want to take, and it's going to take a little while. But at the end, the light is there. You'll do fine. If you got any questions for me, parents, about anything, you could call me 910-476-2141, and I'll be glad to talk to you. But again, I just want to make sure that we all are on the same page, that we understand that some of these players, I may say, I think they'll do better over here versus they may do better over here. And whatever I say, that's just my opinion. It's not the Bible. It's just things that I see, and it's just things that I know, and it's things that I've done off experience. But I am just letting you know that because I want to see the kid. That's going to be better. Have a good night from Coach Bennett.